top predators steal the show. But in their shadows, a family of small wild dogs uses cunning and adaptation to make ends meet in a dog-eat-dog world. From the hardy Arctic fox to the desert jackal, the shy raccoon dog to the much-loved red fox. These wonderful, successful survivors are the real headliners. They might be underdogs, but with their resilience, they always come out on top. There is one wild dog that fires the imagination and has the power to send shivers down our spines: the wolf. An incredible predator that stalks our dreams and haunts the forests. But there are other dogs just as remarkable, living in their shadows. A young wolf has picked up the scent of a red fox. But the fox knows what to do. This is a dog-eat-dog world where only the smartest survive. The wolf can't locate the source of the smell. And eventually gives up. It's not easy being the underdog, but foxes have had plenty of practice. And as a result, they have become masters of stealth and adaptability. There are some benefits to having wolves in your neighborhood. The bigger pack-hunting cousins can bring down much larger prey. The fox knows they are probably tired after the hunt and sleeping off full stomachs. Magpies and ravens have beaten him to the kill, but they will be useful watchdogs as he makes his cautious approach. Luckily, the wolves seem preoccupied. They would kill any other kind of dog on sight, not for food, but to get rid of any competition. A second fox appears on the scene. You'd think they'd never met, but they know each other well. Exaggerated body postures are a way of avoiding conflict. But before they have the chance for a food fight, the bouncers arrive. The party is by invite only. As the day draws to a close, the hungry fox completes one last patrol of his territory and finds the other fox. This is his mate. Foxes are usually monogamous, and this pair has mated several times before. Now, as the air carries the tiniest hint of spring, they begin again their courtship rituals. It's been a long, harsh winter, but finally there are signs of change. The female's been using the den to escape the cold, but it will soon have new purpose. February, the perfect time to start family planning. Their sex life is intense for a while. The female only ovulates for a week or so, and the male only has a brief window when he's at his most virile. After several attempts, it will take nearly 2 months to find out if their efforts were successful. While the red foxes wait for winter's end, other underdogs face very different conditions. Apart from Antarctica, the dog family has colonized the world. Here in Namibia, the force of the Southern Ocean pounds a beach that's the daily beat for an African black-backed jackal. She's hungry, and today there are slim pickings, unless she's willing to risk her life. Her territory overlaps with the breeding beaches of tens of thousands of Cape fur seals. These blubbery behemoths are very aggressive and way beyond the female's hunting capabilities. But in the midst of the throng, there are much more manageable seal pups. The challenge is finding a safe path to get to them. The stakes are high. Her mate made a bad choice and paid the ultimate price. He has left the female to raise their cubs alone. She's feeling the pressure, but try as she might, she can't penetrate their defenses. She's forced to go home empty-handed. It's not easy being a single mum. Looks like it's flies for supper. Not much to quell a growing pup's hunger. A spring evening in the north finds our male fox heading back to the den. But things have changed. The female's gone to ground, and she does not want company. Despite the brush-off, the male won't give up on his mate. During the vulnerable last days of pregnancy, he'll bring food to her and do his best to stay out of her way. Under the cover of darkness, another underdog emerges. This is the lowest of the low, bullied and outcompeted by red foxes and undoubtedly killed by wolves. The secretive raccoon dog keeps a low profile. This female has carved out her own niche, staying close to the edge of waterways, trying to avoid interactions with her larger cousins. But it's not all bad. As darkness falls, the ponds become alive with tasty frogs. Unlike the agile fox, the raccoon dog is a plodder, taking its time to sniff out any potential meal. Its eyesight is unusually poor for a dog, but it's compensated for by its powerful sense of smell. Tonight she's jumpy, not wanting to run into her neighbors, but she doesn't need to worry. the female red fox won't be making her rounds tonight. In the dead of night, she goes into labor. She's an experienced mum and helps with each delivery. Red foxes have between 1 and 13 pups, but tonight there are 6 new faces, an average-sized litter. Smaller than a stick of butter, the cubs are deaf and blind. They can't control their temperatures yet and will be totally dependent on their mother's care and warmth. For the next 3 weeks, she won't leave their sides. Raising a family is the biggest challenge the underdogs face, and the next few months will be critical. It's especially hard when you have to do it alone. The jackal pups are starving, and with new urgency, their mother is forced to once again brave the beach. Success. A stillborn pup. Not much, but enough to ensure the survival of her brood. Underdogs are well established, almost pole to pole. In the furthest north of their range, a bleak windswept landscape does not look very inviting. Though the northern hemisphere is enjoying spring, it has yet to break here. But life goes on for the hardy Arctic fox. These are Ice Age survivors, their thick coats blocking some of the wind's bite. They have got by through adaptability, but tired of scraps, they are drawn to new arrivals. The snow geese have arrived to breed. Alert and aggressive, they are not easy targets for the fox. But the fox knows if she's patient, the geese will lay on quite a feast. To the south, spring has transformed the landscape. Love is in the air. The sweetest serenade, but the great bustards are doing their best to attract the ladies. The racket doesn't seem to bother the mother fox, who's stretching her legs after weeks underground. He's got the moves, but the Barry White of birds is quickly forgotten when his ladies spot the fox. But Mum needs to get back to her den. The pups are totally dependent on her care. She'll provide rich, creamy milk for 10 weeks, giving her little ones the best possible start in life. Their faces are developing, and in the next few days they will open their eyes. She knows there is a dangerous world out there, where only the fittest will survive. But for now, the litter can depend on the safety of the den and their mother's love. By her woodland pond, the raccoon dog mum is alert. She's wary. Her cubs mature faster than the red fox cubs, and for the first time she's letting them leave the den. All of the dog family has a natural curiosity, and the youngsters are fascinated by their surroundings. Curiosity doesn't just kill cats, so their mother is constantly on guard. She has plenty to worry about. Raccoon dog fur is highly prized by the fashion industry, and of course, she's at threat from larger predators. But ironically, despite the threat, it's a disused fox den that has become the raccoon dog's home. There are 32 kinds of parasites that prey on raccoon dogs, so it's good to get out of the den and air their coats. The raccoon-like face masks that give these little dogs their names are already well developed in the pups. Though they are enjoying fun and games now, these are the least social of dogs, and the pups will all go their separate ways by the end of summer. The appearance of the larger red fox vixen brings family time to an end. The snow is finally clearing from the Arctic tundra, and in a gap between boulders, another litter of underdogs has arrived. Small and compact, Arctic foxes are well adapted for the cold. But because of their chilly home in the north, their breeding cycle kicks off about 2 months later. But not only does it start late, it needs to finish early. The race is on. These pups must be ready to leave the den in just 4 weeks. During the summer months, the sun barely dips below the horizon. The male fox stays close to the den, ready to defend his family from intruders and collect food for his mate. Beachcombing, he strikes it lucky. Living in the toughest place on Earth, Arctic foxes can't afford to be choosy. And a washed-up fish carcass is foxy fine dining. What he can't manage, he scent marks so that no one else steals his leftovers while he delivers takeout to his mate. The Arctic summer's short, but in the forests to the south, it's in full swing. The lush green canopy casts cool shadows over the fox's den. The female red fox has used this den for years. The chambers cover several square meters, but it's still not enough space for her growing young. The 6-week-old pup's feeling the need to broaden his horizons, and while the rest of his family is sleeping, a little male takes his first tentative steps. The smells, sights and sounds are a sensory overload for the little male. He sits in awe, trying to take it all in. He doesn't yet know what it means to be an underdog, but he might be about to find out. A wolf has picked up his scent. Luckily, the pup seems to sense the danger. Now he just needs to find his way home. That's one adventure he won't forget in a hurry. Life's tough for these little guys, and with many dangers to face, most won't make it to their first birthdays. The pup seems relieved to be back with his siblings. In another month or so, they'll leave the den altogether. Then the challenges really begin. But for now, Mother keeps them close. This quality time will be short-lived, and all seem happy to make the most of it. The frustrated wolf will go hungry. It's not always top dogs that come out on top. The goose colony is now well established on the Arctic tundra, and the Arctic fox is on his way to find breakfast. His morning mission is to find unguarded goose eggs. The first is an abandoned nest. Perhaps the eggs were infertile, or maybe the wolves have already claimed the parents. Either way, it's a great start, if the fox can get clear of the colony. He stashes this one. Caching is a common fox behavior, gathering as much as he can while there are rich pickings, and putting some aside in case he falls on hard times in the future. Not all geese are willing to hand over their eggs, but the fox has agility and cunning on his side. He tries to draw their fire away from the nest, then completes the perfect heist. It takes a bit of practice, but he's soon on a roll. He seems to mark the empty nests off on his list. The geese do their best, and luckily plenty will hatch, to ensure the goose colony stays healthy for next year's plundering. With a well-stocked larder, the father fox grabs a gosling to take home for dinner. Although they are only a few weeks old, the cubs have already cultured a taste for meat, They will be fully weaned at just 1 month old. In this shortest of seasons, every calorie counts. The pups already resemble their parents, with the compact bodies and tiny rounded ears, features to minimize surface area against heat loss in their frigid home. The little ones are already fiercely competitive over food. The toughest have worked their way up the pecking order and eat first, and it's these youngsters who will have the best chance of survival. Here, more than anywhere, the underdogs have to be tough. In a few months, they'll have to take care of themselves, which will be especially difficult when they have to face their first Arctic winter. Although they had a head start in life and are about a month ahead of the Arctic foxes, the reds are at a similar state, now spending much of their time outside the den. They never wander too far and are drawn back by mother's milk. But even staying this close to home doesn't guarantee their safety. The bank of the den opens out into a sunny playground, but it also puts them in view of another family. Sandstone cliffs above the den are home to a nest of eagle owls, the largest and most deadly of their kind. Like the foxes, their young are growing fast and will soon leave home. Right now, they need as much food as their parents can supply. These are the eagles of the owl world and can bring down prey heavier than themselves. A 3-kilo fox cub versus a 4-kilo bird with a 2-meter wingspan and deadly talons. The first death in the family, but the loss of 1 cub will give the eagle owl chicks the best start in life. Parents everywhere are preparing to send their little ones out into the dangerous world. Snow only sits in the last shadowed gullies, providing a playground for the Arctic foxes. Their hunting instinct is strong, and they practice their mouse-catching maneuvers. But childhood can't last forever. Despite their pleading, Mum isn't willing to feed them anymore. They are being forced to fly the nest. The time has come for them to prove their worth. Left alone, they are confused, looking around for their parents and wondering when the next meal might arrive. Scraps around the den won't keep them going for long, but a bit of movement nearby draws their attention. Hundreds of kittiwake chicks that have recently flown the nest gather here to practice their foraging skills. Soon they will leave the breeding grounds. But when there are hundreds of animals, there will always be casualties. The sick and injured get left behind, and their misfortune might just give the fox cubs the helping hand they need. They might be sitting ducks, but they are also great target practice and packed with nutrition. The pups are soon realizing their Arctic playground is a buffet. For the underdogs, opportunism and adaptability are the key. They'll learn not only to hunt, but to scavenge, dig for insects, and sample berries. Here they must eat anything edible. On the banks of his wetland home, the male raccoon dog is searching for food for his family. He can smell success. Pond turtles lay their eggs in the soft dirt, and now the young are hatching. The tiny reptile's instincts tell them to head straight for the protection of water. The male is ready to intercept any he finds. But he also knows there will be another, even easier feast awaiting him. Not all of the turtles will hatch, and where their nests have been opened, an egg breakfast awaits. There is a lot of food, but not enough to share. A golden jackal has the same idea. If the raccoon is the underdog, then the jackal is the middleman. An in-between, bigger than a fox, but not quite a wolf. Because of its larger size, the jackal is a true threat to the other smaller wild dogs. But secretive in its behavior, this family is staying deep in the forest. Perhaps their distant wolf cousins are keeping them on edge. The pup nuzzles mum to encourage her to regurgitate food. But before she has the chance, she's mobbed. Jackals are big enough to bring down small deer. A powerful boar would be pushing it. But the threat of jackals is enough to stop the wild pig in its stride. The cubs are curious, but it's a dangerous game. Boar can be very aggressive. But this time, its nerves get the better of it. As summer draws in, the mother red fox spends ever more time away from the den. Her pups have totally outgrown their nursery and will only have a few short days left to enjoy it. They're ever more intrigued by the sights and sounds of the outside world. It's time the youngsters mastered the art of hunting. Red foxes are generalists, turning their hand to almost anything edible. But rodents are their favorite prey. But there is someone else looking for a game of cat and mouse. Sensitive ears hone in on a potential victim. Huge, soft feet enable it to move silently through the forest. Dogs are supposed to chase cats, but here it can be the other way round. The mother fox returns too late. From her litter of 6, only 2 have survived, a male and a female. These are the mother's last hope, and soon they will have to go it alone. The pups get ever more independent and are soon confidently moving away from home in search of food. Meadows are a great place to go hunting. She's after rodents, but her presence still puts the roe deer on edge. One doe is especially nervy. She has a late fawn hiding in the hedgerow. While their mothers are busy, roe fawns instinctively know to lie perfectly still, using their dappled coats to blend in with the ground. But lying still when there are predators on the prowl is a gamble. The mother barks, trying to draw the fox away, but the young vixen is only after mice. Even huge red deer are unnerved when the male cub tries the same hunting techniques. Both pups are off to a great start, proving that they are capable of feeding themselves. The young vixen is hugging the woods, the place of her birth. But her brother's venturing further afield. For both foxes, this is a time of great change, and they must be ready to take anything the world throws at them. Late summer rains are just a taster of the hardships to come. Colder air brings changes to the landscape, as lush greens are replaced with the golds of autumn. The raccoon dog family have dispersed, leaving Mum in peace. These incredible little underdogs have a unique trait that sets them apart from all others. They can hibernate. But to get them through the winter, they need to build up their fat reserves. The female's bulging belly is testimony to her success. Soon she'll need to find a quiet spot where she can curl up and switch off, lowering her metabolism until warmer weather tempts her back out. A stranded fish is the ideal high-protein meal she's been craving, perfect for a bedtime snack. It's not long before the forests have their first dusting of snow. In the northern forests, winters come hard and fast. The raccoon dogs might sleep it off, but most animals have to face their biggest challenges: finding food and staying warm in the unforgiving snowscape. An eagle spots the male fox trying to cross a lake. Like most predators, it homes in on weakness. The fox is limping. Who knows what accident befell him, whether he was hit by a car or attacked by another predator, but the eagle seems to sense his time is near. Weak and unable to feed himself, the young male doesn't last long in the cold. His body, a welcome feast to hungry birds. Only around 20% of foxes survive their first year. The weather gets worse, and the young vixen also struggles against the elements. She hangs out around the birds, hoping for scraps. But she has company. Dogs of all sizes have to struggle against the elements and take every feeding opportunity they can. None of them can afford to be choosy. But this time, it's she who is following them. Because they have numbers on their side, wolves are well equipped to bring down the other weakened, hungry creatures of the forest. The ravens know to follow the wolves if they want to find food. And this time, the vixen is using the same trick. Of course, wolves are still deadly. They'd kill her on sight. So she hangs back at a safe distance and respectfully lets them eat first. Luckily, they wolf their food. And with bellies full, turn to play. This is the moment she's been waiting for. With such courage and adaptability, her chances are looking good. She's learning to exploit every possible food resource, even her big bad neighbors. Winter is the ultimate test, and she's passed. Slowly the days get longer, and warmth breathes life into the landscape. It's the tail end of winter for the Arctic underdogs, and a few of the litter has survived the 6 months of freezing darkness. And they have done so through their adaptability. As the first ice-free beaches open up, one of the yearling males explores the tide line. Seafood makes for an exciting seasonal treat. Though getting into a big healthy mussel is a problem that's hard to crack. Though he's not yet reached his first birthday, the young male's fully mature. He's starting to feel the urge to set up home and begin a family. He barks, proclaiming his territory. A nearby female sings back. But as he gets closer, he recognizes her scent. It's his mother. Enthusiastically, he rushes to greet her, but the feeling is not mutual. The female's ready to breed again and doesn't want previous offspring hanging around. She makes her feelings clear. From now on, he is on his own. In the warmer south, another young fox has survived her first winter. The young vixen is in great shape and mousing like a pro. But instead of eating the rodents, she carries them back into the forest. She's enthusiastically greeted by hungry cubs. But these are not her own. They are her new brothers and sisters. She has stayed with her parents to help raise their next brood. Unlike the Arctic foxes, she won't be ready to breed for another year. Though they are not considered pack animals, it's quite common for red foxes to live in extended families. Mum is still here to provide milk, but she has less pressure to hunt as well. It means the young female gets to practice at being a mum until her turn comes around. And with an extra carer, it will give the pups the best possible start in life. Though they might be underdogs, they excel at it and always seem to come out on top.